So guys, we're back, and you know, things happened. I gotta stop stretching after starting each episode. Probably whatever. Neil finally had a chance to catch his breath, but this was no time for resting. I don't understand. There's seemingly no end to them. They keep coming and coming. There's gotta be some way we can fend them off for good. Hey, the more than there are, the more I can practice my deadly somersault attack.
This good for nothing tail has saved my butt 5 times over in the past half an hour. But, truth be told, I don't like fighting. It's hard to believe that all acute triplets are these. It's like some sort of terrible fever dream.
Yeah, how could 3 babies turn into all these things? At that moment, I actually dodged one effortlessly. As scary as they look, they're not too much of a threat as long as we keep on our toes. What's that? Okay, hopefully I don't get walked in the pond. That'd be kinda whack. I wouldn't be so sure of that, actually. The way RB described the Ryoko show, it seems like they work at a hive mind. The triplets always acted very similar, didn't they? They always moved as a pair, sometimes even mechanically. Like a program meant to eat every day, do the same exercise routines, and sleep the same hours. If these guys are a hive mind, working in unison, we don't know how many ways they can multitask. It's entirely possible the force we've been fighting so far is only meant to keep us busy while they center their troops on Egg and Liam.
Yeah, it's been a while now. We should try again, as a team, to push through this way to get to them. They've got us. They've got to still be okay.
The fact that Liam didn't get a powerful body like us still bothers me. The way RB described giving us power. He said it all depended on the level of affinity we had with him. In our case, it was how much we suffered as Adam. If that's the case, shouldn't Aang and Liam be the most powerful of us all?
Aang certainly is. Even compared to the Aang we fought so long ago in a tank. I doubt any of us could hold a candle to that amount of power. And it looks like he still has that power.
Right. But by that comparison, Liam should be an absolute beast. Hey, get your gummy mitts off of me. I'm not your chew toy. Neo and Nana had taken just a second break. What? Had taken just a second break to exchange. Okay, to exchange words, and that was all it took for them to gang up and swarm on Axie.
You okay, Axie? Yeah.
But shame on them for lying to me. It was my fault too, for not being in my family, for not believing in my family. I'll make up for it by believing all I can in you guys now.
Axie, Neo, look.
A large congregation had gathered above them, ready to pounce. As opposed to shrinking in size, the amount they had been fighting looked to have grown in number. Again, come on, it's plan time. Plan. At this rate, they'll corner us. I've seen how each of you fight. I think we'll be okay on our own. We should combine our efforts to shark them and try to get to where Liam is. Let's go into the city and split up when the time is right.
I think I know what you're getting at. Follow me.
Actually, you heard the lady. Actually looked once more at the mob, gulped, and followed. The few of them headed further into the decaying metropolis they had once built. The triplets lived in the same tank, and had therefore swam in the same city as them. But it'd be a lie to say the babies knew the environment half as well as Axie, Neo, and Nana did. The beast spent much of their time hibernating, 23 hours a day. For the small sliver of the day they weren't hibernating, they ate and swam at full speed. Even though they spent decades in the tank just as the others had, they never took the time to stop and smell the roses. Intricate small rooms and passages in the tank remained unexplored to them. More importantly, they hadn't even been involved in the construction of the tank, so they didn't know how those special places the adults constructed for the role-playing campaigns. Lana led the charge, crossing over many arches and doubling back twice. Behind her were Axie and Neo. Not far behind them, the swarm was on their tail. Lana, where are we going exactly?
The wall.
Neo grinned. In front of them was what looked like another plant-made wall. Most of the plant walls they constructed had several layers of materials placed upon them until they were sturdy. But this particular wall was thin and only had a single, meticulously stacked layer of plants. It was a wall that had once been used to stage a fake explosion. In other words, it was a fake wall that functioned more like a curtain. The swarm chased them. Not so much as they didn't know that though. They expected Lana to make a sharp turn upwards. But when she and Axie and Neo both fled through the wall, as though it was nothing, it left them momentarily confused. That second of a blind spot was exactly what the three needed to efficiently split up. You know, back during the good old days, I was the only one of us able to keep up with them. So, I want you guys to leave the chase to me. I'll confuse them till their eyes bleed. They nodded and went their separate ways. Neo and Nana took the chance to double back and, when the coast was clear, head towards the void. I need to check out the place where the void was. There's no way that it's really gone. But it was. At least, at the start of the fight, the Ryokosho scouts had effectively erased the void. Aside from a crater, there was a barrier, there's barely a trace of what had once been.
If the only way out of the tank is gone, then what are we supposed to do?
I was hoping there would still be a small part of the void left. Maybe then we could have led them into the transitional, so I'll be getting them.
There's gotta be a way out.
Maybe there is. But we'll need it, everyone. Then a booming voice came from behind them. It smells forever. Now is forever. Until the day when they reclaim us. But by then, it won't even be a memory. He punched the area in front of him where the voice was coming from, which caused the swarm to scatter and regroup. Haven't you learned a lesson yet? Don't mess with me. Hank had been holding them off for some time now, but despite his claims of having infinite stamina, he seemed visibly winded. Come on, this isn't even 40% of my total power. He didn't know how, but slowly and surely, the swarm had been growing more powerful. And it didn't seem like there was an end to their growth. Already, they were leaving scars and marks on what he had thought was an impregnable body. He looked back towards Liam. I hold up. Hank was still the last defense for Liam, who, though scarcely breathing, was still digging. One glance back was all it took for Hank to realize something was happening. Though wounded, Liam was glowing, making and pulsing a pretty color of light orange. I feel just a little bit better than before. I have to keep digging. The heartbeat is me, another part of us. Just a little further. I don't want to tell you to hurry up or whatever. I don't want to tell you to hurry up, whatever you're doing, but hurry the hell up. RB had told Liam a long time ago that he had the most potential of the 5. But here, in the tank, he realized finally that it wasn't going to be fighting. Something was bubbling right below him. He could feel the same bubbling in his chest. He knew that what he was looking for now. It was his arm. The same arm that Ankh had pulled off of him before exiting the tank all those years ago. He'd nearly forgotten about that arm, and he seemingly had grown another when he emerged from the void. But that arm, even it had grown another, was still a part of him that called out. The others must have buried it here, next to the statue. There's only one problem now. He hit a piece of stone from his rock, burying the arm underneath it. He needed to yell until his voice broke. Hank, are you able to help me lift this rock? I'm a little fucking busy over here if you can't tell. Let me take the load off your back then.
Axie.
It's about damn time we got some reinforcements. Where are the others? Where are the others? I was supposed to be a distraction, but they ended up with most of your coach following them. But they'll be here soon, I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I brought a few guests with me though. Well, they'll just have to join the party. Can you handle them for a second while I help Liam pick up his rock? Leave it to me. I'll somersault over their graves. But then Axie noticed just how large the congregation was compared to the number he had been fighting earlier. Just this rock, right?
Yes.
Eve and... There. It's out of the way.
The arm is still buried, even for the...
Somehow, some way, Liam was feeling better just being near it.
I can handle the rest on my own, so go help.
Axie. Where was Axie? They both looked up into the tornado of enemies, but found him nowhere. A couple feet away, on the floor, a large congregation of swarm lay over the body.
Oh god.
The numbers had been too great for him. And hurried over to the swarm and swatted them away as quickly as he could. But it was too late for Axie the Axolotl. The babies had been getting stronger, and the difference between Axie's body and Ankh's was too great. They had descended upon him simultaneously, and it overwhelmed him immediately. He'd grown too confident dealing with the small fries earlier that he didn't expect their power increase. And now, they were gnawing on his body, just as they had tried to do with Liam. Ankh swatted them around with his big body and did everything he could, but it made no matter. In a moment's time, Axie had been pinned and down and gnawed on. Now half of his right cheek was missing. He wasn't moving at all. His stomach had also been pierced through. And still, there was far too many in this swarm for Ankh to take care of, all on his own. He wanted to yell at the top of his lungs. Axe the Axolotl going down without even a fight. Without even a moment's notice. But if Liam had found a way to feel better, then somehow it must be possible for Axie too. And then a voice began violating his ears. We started off weak, but we are growing. Just as the greater sum, so long ago. We grow even stronger, eating your essence. Get the fuck away from him. Enjoy your last moments, because you are next. What? What the hell was that? What? That's not your voice.
Is that?
Not on his mouth was a cape. I shouldn't have let him go up against all of them alone. They tore right through him.
We need to help. Now. Right now.
Lana went down and began swiping her tail. But like Enk, she soon realized just how many of them there were.
Axie. Axie, wake up.
Neo, quick to assess the situation in chaos, looked around and spotted Liam digging under his old rock. Liam, what happened?
It's my fault. What happened with Axie is my fault. I made Enk come over here to help me. But it's going to be okay.
Liam took in a deep breath, and at that moment, looked just as zen as a monk. He whispered something so low that only Neo could possibly hear him.
I need you guys to run away. I'm going to explode soon.
Explode? Just... what do you mean?
It's like I said. I'm going to go kaboom soon. As soon as I get my old arm back. The explosion should be strong enough to get rid of all of them. But the downside is, even if you have those super tough army bodies, the explosion might be too much for you guys, and
you can't explode. That's not going to help us turn back into Alan. All of us need to be alive.
I won't let this explosion kill me or Enk. Just call it a feeling, but I don't think Oppie would turn me into one of them. Into a one-use nuke. In the Game of Glass, I had a similar ability.
You knew he had to place his trust in Liam. He was the part of him that could handle these grim situations best.
The only one who's gonna stay with me is Enk. Him and I. We've been through a lot together. He's the most stable of us as well. Now go. Grab Lana, grab Axie, and leave the rest of us.
Don't die.
Same to you, bud.
When Neo turned his attention back to Axie, Lana, and Enk, he began to see how dire the situation looked. The swarm was in giant clumps everywhere. Enk was doing his best to keep them occupied, but there were just too many. Lana was desperately trying to keep them off Axie, who was still unconscious on the floor. Neo was petrified that he wasn't breathing. We need to take Axie somewhere safer.
His legs are coming off, Neo.
She secured him on her back. What? You potty poop is gonna leave already. Things have just gotten rowdy enough to have a good time.
We need to save Axie. Oh, please, protect Neo while we're gone.
At that moment, Enk decided to make his big show and fly wildly around, using all his energy to distract the big swarm as much as he could, so those three could slip out unharmed. He swam so hard he created a whirlpool, so that none of the Ryukosho could follow them.
What do you mean he's going to explode? But we have to stop him.
We can't. We just got to trust him, in the both of them. She was about to protest again, but then she realized something. Lana muttered under her breath.
I see. So that's what you were trying to do. Maybe you realized it too, Neo. And you didn't even have to spend half a century with him.
Damn you fuckers multiply like rabbits. Enk was deeply hurt all over. The cracks the swarm made ran wildly through his body.
It is. Wait, hold on. I'm ready now. Please work. Please work.
His glow got more intense by the second. Just as the Axolotls did not know what the Rico Show had in store for them. The Rico Show 2 had not imagined they would square up directly against Arby's blessing. Their goal was to stop this project before that happened. So they weren't expecting the large implosion. There was only one building in the tank that was not made out of plants. The only building which might have a chance to survive the explosion. That was an implosion. We can't keep switching this. The lab. The good old lab. Once inside, they wasted no time backing themselves into a corner and wedging themselves in between the old dusty bookcase.
Now, Neo, stay right there. Don't even think about moving a muscle.
Lana positions herself in front of Neo, completely shielding his body. What are you doing?
Think of all the things Liam has been holding in all this time. And how our being needs to use that. The explosion is going to be a big one.
But you and Naxi, you both need to live too.
You were the first of us who wanted to go back. You had plans and conviction. You might have more Alan in you than any of us.
No, I'm not Alan. No, I'm not. Stop. Let me go. Let me go. All of us. All of us are Alan. We need to live. Nana, you know I've always loved you.
Oh, I know, actually. If we could have avoided all this tragedy, that would be wonderful. But we can't change it. We're stuck in what we've gone through.
But the future is still unwritten.
That's right. However long it takes, we'll spend our time well in the future. Use our experience to our advantage.
Ugh. Just who am I again? Neo, Alan, Bobby, Patsy, Rio Kosho. Too many names swimming around in my head. No, I'm Neo. That's right. Liam exploded. He exploded. And oh. Oh god. Oh my god. The pain came in full force now. Too much pain that he wanted to scream at the top of his lungs, but couldn't even manage to do that. Oh no. Why the hell did you do that? What of you idiots? What the hell? Ugh. Even the lab. It's all in the ruins. Everything gone. Wow, that comeback sure was something like that. Thanks. I tried. No, really, I wasn't expecting all those reinforcements right at the end.
He did do well, didn't he?
He did. Aw, shucks. I can't take all the credit. It was you suckers who fell into my trap. Gah, heckhead. I was just trying to praise you for winning the game.
Really, this was such a fun day, wasn't it?
And tomorrow will be too.
It should be. But let's not forget today. The takers are paradise. We've all come through that set. So it's good to remember relaxing days like today. There may be other good days in the future for all of us, but today will always be yours, Neil.
Wow, it's not even R&D month right now, and it isn't lucky. Alright, a deal's a deal. What do you want to do tonight? I was hoping we could have some story time together. Story time, woo! Were you thinking original stories, or should we read some of our old stuff? You know, I've been itching to get back into some of the Roberto Mills detective novels you have on the shelf. Actually, I was rummaging around some of the old books last week and came across the Axolotl's Guide to Biology.
Oh yeah, you used to be into that book, huh?
Come on, this one book again. Actually, I plan to tell an original story to you guys tonight. An action story about a mafioso who gets infected with special powers. But I have to tell you, some of the inspiration for this new story comes from this old science book. Ah, what do you mean, Egghead? I don't remember reading about any species of mafia axolotls. Nothing like that. The power the main character of my story will get. I read that wrong, probably. That's the load button. This is the log button. No, I didn't read it wrong. I don't know. He doesn't get the fantastic strength or the ability to breathe fire. He obtains a defense ability, enhanced healing, and regenerative powers. Ah, so you mean sort of like that X-Men guy, or Cells, or Majin Buu, or Piccolo. What? Who are these guys? No, the inspiration comes from this book. One of the most amazing things about our biology is the regenerative powers that we have. If that book is correct in what it says, then we are biological anomalies. On Earth, there are so many different species that it makes my head spin. Yet, of all of them, axolotls have one special trait.
Oh, you're talking about our ability to heal really quickly. Yeah, now you mentioned it. Whenever I get a cut or a bruise, it always heals overnight.
It goes even deeper than that. Axolotls can regrow their spine, or even parts of their own brain. But what I find most fascinating of all is that sort of strange experiments they talk about in this book. Somehow, an axolotl can take the severed limb of another axolotl, and the immune cells will allow that arm to become their own. Wait, really? Really? I thought that book was boring, but what you're saying is we can all become Frankenstein's monsters. In theory, yes. That if our biological system worked the same as the non-sentient axolotls in this book. Hey, don't you guys want to try it? We could find something sharp, like my own mirror, and snip snip. What if I put your arm on my head? Would it grow then? Would I have another arm on my head? You would. Maybe.
Don't even think about it.
Just kidding, just kidding. Or am I? Ooh. You know what's really scary? A past me considered something very similar to what you were suggesting, actually. I thought that maybe something would happen. That our old friend, Albie, might tell us something. Hey, don't be a gimme head. It's story time, remember?
Yeah, and this is your day, Neil. Your day.
You had no idea how much time had passed. A second, a minute, an hour, a week, a year. It was impossible to tell. As he frantically looked around, he noticed something to his left. This tail. It's Donna's. Just gotta scooch a little. He managed to move himself to the left by momentum. But each movement was hard and cold. The places where he should have had limbs seared. Finally, he moved himself into position and, exhausted, drifted off again. Awake. And hey, my new tail. I can wiggle it. If that's the case, then over here. You must have used these to launch 10,000 somersaults. No, even more probably. I hope you won't mind if I borrow these two, bud. I know you wouldn't. Now, another rest. Looks like I finally have full control of everything. How long has it been? Time to get up before I second guess myself. Hey, not too bad. Everything feels pretty natural. Liam's rock. I have to check it. As he left the ruined building, Neil was greeted with a strange sense of melancholy. Not a single structure they made survived the fallout of the explosion. At best, there were ruins like his lab, and at worst, nothing at all. The tank looked almost as it once had, long before they built any structures of their own. As he expected, Liam's rock was blown to smithereens. But, in the rubble, he noticed something shiny. You're right. RB didn't make you one use case. Well, it just so happens I am fresh out of arms, so yours will be put to good use. Thank you, Liam. Swam down and, using Lana's tail as a handle, he began to insert Liam's arm where it had once been. Unlike the time it took for the leg and tail, Liam's arm slid right in and assimilated itself immediately, almost as if it had a mind of its own. Thanks for fetching me, Liam. No, thank you, Liam. Without you, I'm not sure what we would have done. Thank you for showing us how strong we can be. Alright, looks like I've almost got a complete set of Axolotl action figures strapped to my body. That's morbid. We're just missing one more. He's about to swim off again, when he noticed something was wrong. Everything in this tank, aside from him, is supposed to be dead. And yet, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a bit of movement. You thought it was so easy to get rid of us. Even this small part of us. We thought our mission was over. But there is still one more left. Avi has some nerve. If he thinks he can put a dent to us.
Neo, run.
I'm on it. So they won't come at all. Dang it. I thought. Don't worry about it, man. We're all a part of that guy right now. So I know you guys can feel it too. He's got a plan. I do. It looks like we have decided to bury his arm in the right place after all. But we have to outswim them one more time. During their years of productivity, they buried Liam's arm in his old corner, and Enk's old arm in his. As I swam, a few minions caught up from behind. Ah, nice. Now I get a chance to see how this tail feels against them. Use its weight to swat a few away. But none of them turned to dust, as before. The axolotls were now only a mild inconvenience to a being who had grown much stronger than them. Here we are.
I think I buried it right under here. Right there. You got it.
Just like the previous body part, Aang's arm slid onto Neo's and attached itself. Ready. Fine day. You guys sure take your sweet ass time, don't you?
As much as I want to appreciate this wonderful reunion, and at the same skin, they're almost here.
Yeah. This plan's got something to do with this corner, right? Hank, do you remember the crack on the wall there? Of course. You banged your head into it so much that it cracked, didn't it? Yeah, well, what's your point? Over the years, we tried covering it up with plants. But, of course, there were no tools we could use to repair it. Over time, I think that somehow the crack has gotten a bit worse. I see what you're getting at, buddy boy. That's right, Hank. We're finishing what you started so long ago. We're breaking open the tank. Well now, this is something I can get behind. There's an art to this, you know. First, you have to get into position. A good length away. Yeah, that'll work. Now it's time to bash. Legs extended, heads first. I think I'm going to use the tail, sorry.
Did that do anything? Yeah, the crack is widening.
The overwhelming presence had finally caught up to them. Let this be your final resting place. Again, into position, and...
Alright. I think we've made contact with the outside.
Enough. You may be faster, but the time has come. It's over. You're right. It is about to be over. Look around. We're in the transitional. Sayonara, suckers! I see now. So, this is your last ditch effort. I commend you. But I regret to inform you that it makes no difference. No difference to a higher conscious. No effect on the casualty of our time. Perhaps it might even be preferable this way. We will not have to wait eons for your reality to implode upon itself. We can return to our parent soon. But you, who under obvious control, do not share the same relationship yet. You will float in here forever until your essence gives up and you become a part of the transition. And then, one day, you will become one of us. But by that point, there won't be anything of you, of your personality left. If, by some miraculous occurrence, you happen to survive, keep in mind that we are toenail clippings. That's right. We are the equivalent of beer culture. Toenail clippings. RB is kidding himself. The war will soon end. Then the president's gone, just like a flash of lightning. Almost at once, Neo felt a familiar warmth wrapping around him like a cocoon. It was the remnants of the tank, latching on to their essence. Their text changed, okay. Hey, look what we got here. It's like our own personal spaceship.
Next up, Ansiosis.
Home.
We'll have to find RP again first though, right?
That's right. And transitional is supposed to be an incredibly large space. Yeah, I'm sure we'll run into Bracket Boy eventually.
Until then, I think there's a lot of work we have to do.
What do you mean?
Well, you, Axie, and I spent a lot of time together. And you two almost spent a lot of time. Oh, also spent a lot of time together. But the five of us, together, we only have spent a relatively short time with each other. Now, we have that chance. And maybe, if we imagine hard enough, perhaps we can even go back to the tank. For a time.
The ceiling.
Oh, honey, you're awake. How are you feeling?
Yep, that's Mom voice. The soft back of a warm hand touched me on my forehead.
Feels normal to me. That's great, Al. Your father and I were worried. We were sick.
Now come on and get ready. What's wrong? There's no need to be nervous, babe.
You're not going to be absent on the first day of school, are you?
Well, that was RB Axolotl. I really enjoyed this. A few grammatical error, it started off fine with speaking of grammar, it started off fine with grammar, like at the beginning, but near the end, it kind of took a downhill turn. I like the ending. It sets it up for maybe a possible other game. I doubt it though. I don't know where it could kind of go off from there, but yeah, if you get this game, don't name yourself something stupid. I ruined the experience by doing that. I guess I'll do the afterward. I don't know if that'll be another video or not. I guess we'll just see, but yeah.